Sprint, Sprint5, the no new use cases were actually implemented, but 4 of the main overarching use cases were finalized and fine-tuned. And essentially, submit application, the application workflow, notify supervisor to submit evaluation, and then submit evaluations. All 4 of those were fleshed out, and we basically fine-tuned everything to make sure it all worked. And since the application workflow had already been pretty much created and had met all the acceptance criteria, we focused on the other 3. So first, within submit evaluation, we made sure to add required fields. So now in page layouts, if you go to international business, for example, all of these fields are required, and we'll see that when a student goes in to submit an internship evaluation that they have to include these fields in order for the application to be submitted correctly, or else an error message pops up. Additionally, validation rules were set. For example, the internship end date cannot be before the internship start date, and there has to be a valid 810 number, which means basically if the 810 number is not valid, then an error message pops up. And then additionally, in terms of notify supervisor to submit evaluation, that initially was not working for us because what happened is the evaluation or the survey was created, but when in Process Builder, when we went in and created that trigger, it was not sending when the internship end date approached. And we were at first unsure as to why, but then we figured out kind of a workaround. So this is the one use case where the acceptance criteria wasn't officially met, because what happened is the initial acceptance criteria is in order for a supervisor to actually receive the evaluation. The actual application has to be, the status has to be set to approved, and the internship end date has to approach. But for some reason, the email was not sending to the supervisor if both conditions were listed. So we only have one condition. What that means is that even if the status is not set to approved, if the internship end date approaches, then the supervisor will still receive the evaluation. So this is the only criteria, or this is the only acceptance criteria that is not fully met. However, now we figured out exactly that this process, when the internship end date approaches, the survey does adequately get routed to the supervisor. And then finally, in the submit evaluation use case, we created a related list in case so that the survey is attached to the respective internship application. And you can see that by going to page layouts. We'll do international business again. And you can see if you scroll down to related lists, the survey invitations and responses are there. So you can see the survey invitation, and you can see whether it was completed or not. And if it was completed, you can see that specific evaluation that's attached, as well as the approval history that's attached to that specific case. And now we'll go through an example of that. So we'll go into the internship application, create a new international business internship, and I'll do my name, international business, contact, we'll do John Smith. It's new. I'll put my email in there. None of this is required, but here this information is required. And I'm gonna say my internship end date is today, just so I can show that the email is being sent, because today is the 14th, so it will be sent on the 14th, which is today. And since the begin date has to be before the end date, I'm gonna say it was on November 1st. And now I will create a new application. Once that application is created, you can see that here. And since the approval had already been working, since it's international business, the status goes to pending advisor, and the advisor will receive an email. and then when can go into related, and then can see not only the survey invitation, but also an approval history. And since today's the due date, there will be a survey invitation sent out, and we'll look at that in just a minute. But first, let's go ahead and we can show that the academic advisor can approve, and then when we go back in, it's now pending the instructor. So now the instructor can go in, and all of these notifications that you hear are emails being sent to me because my email is attached to everything. So we can go back into related and then into approval history. Now it's pending instructor. I can go in and approved. Well, I guess I approved it too soon, so we'll go in and approve after. But if I go into my Gmail account, since that's the email attached to the supervisor that I clicked on, which I'm pretty sure was John Smith. Yeah, it was John Smith. And since this is the email attached to John Smith, here's the survey, and I can go ahead and open the survey in my email. And here's the survey. So I can now answer everything in the survey. I'm going to say yes. The intern received greater than this. And I'll just fill out a few fields. So now I received this confirmation saying thank you, your evaluation has been submitted. And we can go back into case. I'll go here and approve. I'll be the instructor now and approve. I guess it's still too soon. But essentially, after a while, the instructor is able to go in and approve. But now if we go into survey, I can click on this survey, look at invitations and responses, and it says here invitation status completed, so this survey has been completed, and I can click into that, and here's the link, but it's completed and it's attached to that case. And essentially, if I wasn't the same person going in to approve it, the faculty advisor or instructor of record would then be able to go in and approve this case. It would be set to approved, and there's already a survey and it says completed, so it's been completed. So when you click onto this case, you can see the approval process, and you can also see whether the survey has been sent, and if it has been sent, whether it was completed or not.